All right, listen, we've spoken about gold, I think, enough. But like that part of Central Joburg is extremely interesting to me. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just throw you a fact. I'm not going to give you any kind of backstory. I'm going to throw you a fact, and I'm going to let you guess whether the fact is right, and then I'll give you some kind of backstory to either prove it or disprove it. Soweto exists where it does because of
You're on a vibe, because my next question...
Oh, really?
Cool.
Oh,
Yes,
good.
yes.
Okay.
Hit me.
Soweto exists where it does because of the bubonic plague.
Ah, good grief. No, man. No. You're talking, kike. No, it was... Well, I don't know. Yeah.
No,
I know
right.
my history. Listen,
Yeah.
bubonic plague's like 1500s Europe, okay? But it exists where it does. It was conveniently outside of town. It was Sophia Town was too close to the city, and then they were like, let's do this, Group Areas Act, and they created a township in the southwestern region of Johannesburg. Southwestern
you
township.
seem extremely confident.
And then because it was sadly they called it their region Triumph, because it was a triumph over. Maybe I don't know if the reason was because it was we as whites triumphed over the black people. I hope that's not the reason, but it did become known as Triumph. These days it's back to Sophia Town, but it has lost the beautiful culture that apparently was around it in the 30s and 40s. But no, it's not bubonic plague. It was convenient land to move residents of Sophia Town to. Bubonic plague, cack.
So, right. But what made the land convenient?
A road. The M1.
No. All right. So here's the actual story, right? I mean, this is. So in 1904, there was a suburb just kind of west of Fordsburg.
Yeah.
Called Brickfields. And Brickfields was an area that was started by poor Afrikaans people who had arrived with the intention of being miners, and then landed up finding that they couldn't get work as miners, or they were ill-suited for work as miners. Maybe they were blind, maybe they couldn't hear properly, whatever it was. And they went west of Fordsburg because there was good clay soil there, and they started making rudimentary bricks for people to build their houses.
Oh, okay. Brickfields.
And that's how the area of Brickfields started. And then Brickfields very quickly became a slum.
Oh.
And it quickly started developing into an overcrowded, overpopulated, awful place with, too much drinking, too much prostitution. It was multicultural in that there
There's
were...
a place called Mayfair today. Must be close to Mayfair.
Not
Auckland.
quite, Joe. So Mayfair's a totally other story. It was similar to Parktown. It was somebody who was trying to establish a wealthy suburb.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah.
Brickfields.
So Brickfields was this I suppose hive of scum and villainy, really. And and the government desperately wanted Brickfields to not be there. They wanted to move them further away from the rich people who at that time were living in central Joburg. So they were desperate to move these guys away from the city. And then what happened is the bubonic plague kicked in, and Brickfields started developing cases of proper medieval bubonic plague. So what the government did was they took everybody there. They took the white people, they moved them to one area, and everyone else, they moved them to southwest of the city, and they set fire to 1,600 buildings, and they totally burnt out.
Oh, come on.
This entire section of developed Johannesburg. And they took these people to what was called Klipspruit at the time, but isn't the Klipspruit of now. It's the Pimville of now.
Oh.
And if you know anything about Pimville is in Soweto. So
Yes,
they moved all those people there. And then over time, they allowed the Indian people and the Malay people and the Chinese people to move back to Johannesburg, but the black people were not allowed to move back. So this is regarded as the very first kind of forced removal in South Africa. Yeah, in South African history. It's
this was way before the Group Areas Act or
right.
anything
Yeah.
like that.
So this is the very first forced removal, and the fact that these people were there is what made it convenient
I
when it came
see.
time to start moving black people
Yes.
away from central
I
areas.
see. There's a
Because there were already
there's a
black.
reason
there
for
were
the
already,
convenience.
That's right. There was already black people there, and there was already infrastructure there, and there was already culture there, and there was already businesses built there, and so it became convenient for them to take people and to move them into the southwest of the city, or Soweto, into the southwestern township. Ironically, it's actually true. I think.
Wow.
I think in a kind of
It's a
indirect
bubonic plague. Eh?
Yeah, in an indirect way, bubonic plague.
Brixfield. What the hell were they doing, man?
Exactly. Who knows? I mean, by the sound of the police reports and things from the time, they were doing everything there. They were next level. That was the nasty. Honestly, if you're going to make a TV show about like a
period
part of
piece.
South Africa, South African history, Brickfields is a great one. Like, it's really got absolutely everything. You want to make your South African Deadwood, that's where you want to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You think it was close to Soweto town? I wonder.
I mean, it's close.
What is
in modern terms. In
what
modern
is it called
terms.
today? Do you know? Is it still called Brixfield?
It is still called Bricksfield, and
Wow.
it's right by Fordsburg. So in modern
right
terms,
by. No, yeah, Fordsburg. I know where Fordsburg is.
Yeah, in modern terms, it's close.
Okay.
But I suppose then it was quite removed from where Soweto town was. But yeah, so the reason there was a population southwest, there was already a southwestern township, was because of this bubonic plague. Yeah. And them burning 1,600 buildings. Like, I think when we say 1,600 buildings, at the time, that's like 10% of the city. They set fire to and squashed 10% of the city.
Man.
But the reason you didn't know that South Africa had a bubonic plague outbreak was because they burned 1,600 buildings.
He's like.
Yeah, so there you are.